Hello, my name is Dr. Helen, Ambassador Brikins, your facilitator for this week. Last week, you learned about language use in media and information. You were taken through reading, listening, interpreting, and understanding media information, the medium and the message, sponsored and unsponsored messages. This week, we shall focus on traditional and new media. This shall be discussed extensively in this lecture and the subsequent two for this week. The first lecture in this week is titled From Traditional to New Media. In this lecture, we will be examining a brief history of the media to the emergence of the new media and how it can be advantageous to us. At the end of this lecture, you should be able to give a brief history of the media, describe how new technologies have led to the convergence of traditional and new media, and identify advantages of media convergence. Communication is as old as human existence. Humans have always needed to express themselves, transmit and receive messages. The means through which human communication takes place depends on various factors, such as the context and availability of media forms. Media, the plural form of medium, generally refers to various means of mass communication, such as books, newspapers, magazines, radio and television, photography, and cinema. The term media is used as a collective terminology for the press and news reporting agencies. Media also refers to computer storage options such as flash drives, floppy disks, CD-ROMs, and removable drives. However, technological advancement is taking place with speed, and advances in technology have introduced various forms of information storage and dissemination. The advent of the internet has provided media consumers with a very wide range of choices, so much so that people could get overloaded with information. Media consumers can now produce and disseminate their own media content widely without the constraints of geographical location, even without training and acquisition of special skills. Traditional media channels, which were themselves once new, are developed in conjunction with digital technology known as new media. Change and continuity, a brief history of the media. The mass media has developed over very many decades and has changed living dramatically. Human beings right from time have devised means of expressing themselves, preserving, storing, and disseminating information. In much earlier times, cave dwellers painted pictures on their walls to record messages. However, the development of the earliest forms of writing dates back to 3000 BC and is attributed to the Sumerians, who lived in the major cities in what is now Iraq. They drew inscriptions on damp clay using sharp tools. The signs with which they represented speech were known as cuneiform. The Sumerian inscriptions developed over time into phonetic symbols. As cuneiform progressed in the Middle East, the Egyptians and Chinese developed their own forms of writing. Writers in ancient Egypt developed a writing system known as hieroglyphs. It comprised pictures of real-world objects and representations of sounds. At about 1500 to 1050 BC, the Chinese communicated with their ancestors by making inscriptions on pieces of oxen shoulder blades or the undershell of turtles to seek guidance when they needed to make important decisions, like when and how to organize farming activities. These forms of writing underwent several changes over time. Alphabets developed between 1700 BC and 1500 BC, and the writers were highly educated people known as scribes. Documentation was made with special tools on walls, stone, clay, and rocks. Later, people wrote on rags using ink. Scrolls were then developed from papyrus reed, but they crumbled easily and were destroyed by insects. Parchments were then developed from animal skin. The Chinese invented paper from cotton or wood pulp between 240 BC and 105 BC. However, paper replaced parchments after the advent of printing. Books were the earliest forms of mass media. Johannes Gutenberg, a metal worker and a goldsmith in Germany, in the mid-1400s, developed the movable type. The invention of the printing press then meant that books which were handwritten could be mass-produced and made available to many people. The printing press made information dissemination through print possible. By the early 17th century, the first set of newspapers were produced, and as more people learned to read and write, readership grew and distribution became wider. With the invention of photography, newspapers printed photographs by the late 19th century, and reading became more interesting. In 1895, the Lumiere brothers gave a public demonstration of motion pictures in Paris. Even though the novel phenomenon frightened some people, it paved the way for film and television. Meanwhile, in 1835, Samuel Morse invented the telegraph, a system through which messages could be sent over long distances at almost instantaneous speed. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, making instant two-way voice communication possible. In December 1901, Guglielmo Marconi made instant communication possible by receiving a radio signal from Cornwall, England, from a distance of about 3,400 kilometers away. He achieved this by raising a radio antenna attached to a kite on Signal Hill, St. John's, Newfoundland. Also, on November 2, 1928, in Washington, television broadcast was made by combining pictures with sound, and by the late 1940s, there was widespread installation of television sets in people's homes. Television has kept improving over the years. The emergence of the internet has changed communication dramatically. The internet is simply an interconnected network. It is a system by which computers worldwide are linked, irrespective of their geographical location. The network is linked by an array of electronic, wireless, and optical technologies. Invention of the internet cannot be attributed to one individual, as it is the product of the effort of several engineers over a period of time. Some people are noted to be key players in the development, emergence, and advancement of the internet, some of whom are Vincent Cerf, Robert E. Kahn, J.C.R. Lacklider, Donald Davis, Charles M. Hesfield, Robert W. Taylor, L.G. Roberts, and Tim Berners-Lee, a computer scientist. Having gone through the brief history of the media, let us look at the new media. As at the later part of the 20th century, people went about their affairs normally, comfortable with the regular landlines, cassette players, radios, and television. Newspaper vendors served their customers faithfully, and book publishers published more titles to be bought off the shelves. As at year 2000, many Nigerians, for instance, did not know what to do with a computer if presented with one. People traveled long distances to hold meetings or deliver messages. The post office staff were inundated with work during festive periods, sorting out and ensuring timely delivery of greeting cards and letters sent by people to their loved ones. People made pen friends, relationships which were operated by letter writing. Photographers still took their darkrooms seriously, and banking was laborious and complicated. All that, however, has changed now that information can be created, modified, viewed, preserved, and shared with digital electronic devices. Digital electronic devices are computers and computerized devices such as smartphones, Android boxes, smart TVs, etc. Text, graphics, video, and audio can now be transmitted through computer networks. You probably belong to chat groups. You are a member of a virtual community. You receive lectures via the internet, as you're doing now, and you could even write examinations online. You probably have been able to link up with your long-lost friends and family members through Facebook. You watch videos on YouTube, download your favorite music from the internet, and listen to it on your cell phone or laptop. You even can store a lot of information on a device small enough to fit into a corner of your wallet. You can generate messages and disseminate them on the internet, and it will be accessed through different platforms by your audience. You can listen to radio and watch television on your cell phone. All these are examples of new media as distinct from the older media forms and made possible by the emergence of the internet. New media forms are easy to access and easy to process. They are, unlike the old media, highly interactive. You can, for example, develop your own website and market your products. You can shop online. Applications of new media are almost endless, but a few examples are blogs, social media, online newspapers and magazines, e-books, virtual reality, online TV, online radio, digital games, online educational systems, such as the one you are involved in now, online shopping, cell phones, email, video streaming, instant messaging, and internet banking. You can operate all you require on your cell phone. Then, what do you understand by the term media convergence? Driving through some major roads, you may have noticed that at some point different lanes get merged with a particular lane, and there might be a sign telling road users that the lanes converge at that point. Traditional media and new media have merged much the same way. One device can perform several functions which otherwise distinct technologies performed previously. For instance, you can access online newspapers and online radio stations on your smart TV. You can send emails, take and send pictures, connect with your friends on social media, listen to your favorite station, download an ebook, make a flight booking, be on Twitter, make and receive phone calls, all on your cell phone. Simply type in your requirements and click on or tap your device. In conclusion, however, media convergence, like many innovations, has its drawbacks, but it can be highly advantageous. You could organize your business and promote your products and services through your cell phone. You can access, store, modify, retrieve, and send information easily on your handheld device. Both small-scale and large-scale business operations can be carried out on handhelds. Some organizations even find it convenient to operate paperless offices. We hope you have enjoyed this lecture. You can consult the entries in the references under the resources for more information. You are required to go through the quizzes and assignments assigned to this lecture on your course page. Thank you.